Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today is Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm so excited to have you guys drop in and hang out with us. We've got a globe-trotting guest today, and I'm so excited to have her. She's in the green room. So we're going to get our shout outs out the way so that we can get her on the air so we can hear about what she's going to be talking about on today. The first thing I like to do is give a shout out to my mentor. My mentor, Dr. Hunt, has been in my life for 30 plus years. And out of those 30 plus years, he has been a blessing to both me and my family, as well as I have been a blessing to him and his family. And I talk about mentors every time I go live because I want people to understand the value of a mentor. So when you have a mentor, somebody that can be a blessing to you no matter what's going on in life and no matter what situation or circumstance that you're going through. So I always encourage people to get a mentor, somebody that you can trust and count on. And then I want you to get a show so you can shout that mentor out. All right. So I want to invite you guys to go over to my website, ask-dr-ron.com. When you get over there, the first thing I want you to notice is that every time that I go live, I want you to click that button right on there that says watch live, and you'll be able to see this live broadcast right there on the website. And that will give you an opportunity to be able to keep up with what's going on. Also, I want you to notice that we have advertisers. So I'm going to talk about a few of my advertisers right now. RRJ Web. If you have a website that's broken and needs to be fixed, then you can go to RRJ Web. They can help you fix your broken website. If you have a website idea that you would like to bring to life, then RRJ Web is the person to talk to help you with your creativity to bring your website to life. The next person I want to talk about is Sir Synergy. Sir Synergy is helping people with energy understanding about solar energy for business and personal homes. People that need solar panels for their home or solar energy for their home, they are the people to talk to. Sir Synergy can help you with your energy needs. The next one I want to talk about is Pour It Again Sam. Pour It Again Sam is bringing in some of the best wines and spirits from all over the world. And I tell you, if you have not had a wine tasting with Pour It Again Sam, you need to talk to Pour It Again Sam. Set up your wine tasting so that you can find your new favorite wine. I tell you, he's got some new stuff in, and the holiday season is coming up, and you definitely want to make sure you are stored up with your new favorite wine. So get in touch with him and let him know that you're ready to do a wine tasting. And last but not least, I want to talk about the Prince Hunter Financial Group. The Prince Hunter Financial Group are helping people understand about the Forex market as well as the stock market. So if you are wondering how people make money on the market, this is an opportunity to get some information. The Prince Hunter Financial Group is offering 4 free classes. Every time that you mention the name Ask Dr. Ron. They will give you 4 free classes to help you get started on your journey to understand on how the stock market works. So be sure and reach out to any and all of my advertisers. If you go to my website, click on any of the banners, click on any of the pluggers that you see on the website. They'll take you directly to the vendor, and you'll be able to reach out to them directly and find out how they can be of service to you. Now, my guest has been on the show before, and I'm so excited to have her back on the show. We were talking before the show started, and she used the term jet setting around the world. Now, you know, the last time that she came on, she talked about how she was up in the mountains skiing and stuff like that. So I'm like, I don't know where she is. She won't even tell me, but I'm just so glad she took time out of her jet setting schedule to come hang out with us today. Welcome back to the show, Richette.
Thank you for having me.
Oh no, you're a regular now. See, I'm living vicariously through you, so I got to find out, what fun you're having. See, I'm too old to have fun anymore, so I got to have fun through your adventures.
Understood. I am certainly having fun,
Good,
enjoying life. It's only one
good,
of them, so making sure I live
absolutely.
this one correctly.
Absolutely. And you're doing a wonderful job. Now, the last time you were on the show, we were talking about a celebration coming up in the Bahamas, and that was the 50th anniversary of the independence of the Bahamas. And I know that they had island wide celebrations. So, can you give us, an update on, how did it go, how it went, how much fun it was? What's the lowdown on that? Tell us the story.
Okay. So, yes, we had our 50th anniversary celebrations throughout the year. It started, as I said on the last show, it started out in November of last year, and some of it is still ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it, though, happened in the month of July when the
Mm-hmm.
actual date of independence is, and that would have been the 10th of July. So, there were a series of events that really did us proud in terms of the celebrations of our 50 years being independent. One of those events that I really enjoyed was the Prime Minister's Ball, which was hosted at one of the hotels in Nassau, the Atlantis Resort. It was very well attended. Everyone came out all dressed in their beautiful gowns, nice suits, and everyone had a wonderful time. So that was one of the events that I attended that was so much fun. There was also the Prime Minister's cocktail reception at the Government House, which I also had the privilege of attending. It was even better than the Prime Minister's Ball, in my opinion. And again, there were lots of people there, all dressed in their Bahamian clothing. And yeah, for the most part, people had lots of fun. I think it was the first time in a long time I've seen Bahamians really enjoy their culture and be proud of celebrating as a nation. So those were just two of the events that I was in attendance for and were really, really well organized. As I said, lots of fun and lots of people attended.
Good, good. So, did they do a lot of parades? I know the Bahamas is famous for carnival type parades. Did they do any of that at all?
So we have John Canoe, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have? They did have a lot of Junkanoo parades as well, and also each island basically celebrated their own way. So each
Mm-hmm.
island, including Harbor Island, had like an event on the day or leading up to the day. And Junkanoo would have been a part of the celebration. So, yes, they had lots and lots of Junkanoo celebrations throughout the country.
Okay. And so did you get a chance to get out there and shake some cowbells and, celebrate like that?
Unfortunately, I did not.
Okay.
Um, I attended the ball, the cocktail
Mm-hmm.
reception. I did not attend any of the Junkanoo events,
Okay.
unfortunately.
All right. Well, I know that's a big family thing, because I can remember, seeing so many families all gather around and the drums and shaking the bells and all of that stuff. That's really huge, when a celebration comes about like that. Now, I also noticed that you ran a tennis training program for over the summer. Did I get that right or did I get that messed up?
You are absolutely correct. In fact, even before the tennis camp, so I didn't
Mm-hmm.
mention that I do, from time to time, play tennis socially. So I was
Mm-hmm.
selected for the Bahama Games team, the Luther Bahamas Games team that played tennis. I didn't actually play, but I was a part of the team. And so, as a bonus, our team got third place, which is a bronze medal. So, I too
Okay.
won a bronze medal. So, I'm so proud of that accomplishment. That was also one of the things that happened during the 50th year celebrations. They had what we call Bahama Games, which is like the Bahamas form of Olympics, where all of the islands come to New Providence and they participate in various sports, and then the winner is announced in each event. So that was really a highlight for me. It had been over 20 years since they had the last one. And I
Okay.
actually took part in the last one where I competed as a high jumper. So
Okay.
20 plus years later, I get to participate in the Bahamas Games as a tennis player, which was for me just an awesome accomplishment. But yes, I did also assist in hosting a tennis camp in Harbor Island during the summer. It went very, very well. We're already looking at next year's preparations, and we're anticipating that it will be bigger and even better.
Now, was it for the youth or mostly adults?
It was for the youth. It was
Okay.
for the youth. We had overall about 50 young people between the ages of 4 to say 15
Okay.
attend the camp. It was hosted for 3 weeks. Initially, we had planned it for 2 weeks, but the kids loved it so much that we extended it for an extra week.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah. Now, did you all like provide them with rackets and outfits and stuff like that too, or no?
The coaches that came in, so we brought in professional coaches out of New Providence. They
Okay.
actually brought all of the tennis rackets, balls,
Okay.
everything that we needed for the game. But of course, the kids wore their own clothing. So we didn't
Okay.
have clothing donated or anything, no. But again, a part of the plan for next year is to ensure that we have t shirts for all of the kids as well as some other things that we have planned. But the coaches brought in all of the stuff that we needed for the tennis camp.
That's so beautiful. I love to hear that. So, and then the fact that you all took third place. Now, was it island wide, or did they just have certain islands that participated in the tournament?
So it was island wide. However, there were some islands that did not participate in certain events. So, for example, tennis, there were only a total of, I think, 8 or 10 islands that actually took part in tennis because some of the islands don't actually have tennis courts, and so no one actually plays on those islands.
Gotcha.
But it was a great event in any event. And again, that is also something that they're looking at for the future, developing tennis on all of the islands so that on the next occasion, you can have more teams taking part.
Absolutely. Now, for those that don't know, how many islands are officially considered the Bahamas?
So there are 700 islands in the Bahamas. And I
700.
think, if I'm not mistaken, 35, 35 are habited.
Okay. So you got a lot of private islands that somebody living on and don't nobody know nothing about.
That's basically it, exactly. So of those 700, we have 35. It's either 35 or 37 where people actually live
Uh-huh.
permanently.
Okay. Now, one other sport that I know that was pretty famous during the summer months, they used to have the boat race. What they call it, the regatta. Did they do that this year?
Regatta. So regatta is held generally throughout the year in various islands. Harbor Island has their event coming up in October. So
Okay.
that would be the what they call the Harbor Island Regatta. It's held during the holiday in October.
Okay. I thought maybe they might have had a special one during the celebration. You
They
know.
did. Yes, you're right. During the Bahamas Games, um, sailing was one of the events that was
Okay.
hosted between the islands. Yes, so that was also one of the events that they held.
Okay. Good. So a lot of fun had by all.
A lot of fun had by all, a lot of activity going on. I mean, there was no lack of things to do during the month of July because there was so much activity. You could pick, choose, and refuse from the activity that was going on. And it was really good, to be able to, like I said, celebrate 50 years and see the Bahamian people really get excited about it. It was really good to see that.
Good. 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 So, with all that was celebrated at this particular 50-year anniversary, are they planning on doing? If you know, I know you may not know because you may not know or heard as of yet. What are they going to do next year for 51? Is it still going to be just a big thing, or will it kind of settle down by then?
They don't have any plans for the nation for
Mm-hmm.
51 years. I think they're only looking at the Jubilee years, the 25, the 50, the 75. However, they do intend to host Bahama Games, I'm told, every either 2 or 3 years. So there will be Bahamas Games every 2 or 3 years moving forward. So that
Okay.
gives the islanders, the young people, something to look forward to in terms of sports. So everybody's excited about that because they used to host it, I believe it was every 4 years, and then it
Okay.
stopped. So they are resurrecting Bahamas Games.
Good. Good. Now, question you may or may not know the answer to: uh, Are the Bahamians represented during like the Olympics and things like that? Do you all participate in certain sports during the Olympics, either the summer or winter?
Yes, yes, definitely. So the Bahamas is very popular for its track and field athletes. In fact, you may be familiar with the Golden Girls. They won the 4x100 in, I believe it was in 2000, either 2000 or 2004 in Australia. They
Okay.
won, they beat the USA, the great USA, in the 4x100. And then we have what we call the Golden Knights, which are our men. They're 4x4, won I believe it was during the 2012 London Olympics. They
Okay.
won the 4x400 relay. So we are known for our track and field athletes. We have quite a bit of athletes on the circuit. Shawnee Miller, Weibo is one of them. Stephen Gardner is, they're both at the top of their game in the 400. In fact, I think Stephen Gardner went into the recent World Championships as the number one 400-meter runner. However, he got injured. Shawnee Miller is one of the top athletes. She's won the 400 at the Olympics. I don't think she's won the World Championships yet, but she is also one of our top athletes. She just had a baby, is coming back from recovery. So she's too on the up and coming again. But we have quite a pedigree of track and field athletes. And yes, they have competed over the years successfully in the Olympics. This time around, the Bahamas is looking to field a team of basketball players in the
Oh,
2024 Olympics. So we're excited about what's happening with basketball in the country as well. Um, we have NBA players represented.
right.
Let me see if I can remember the names.
I think Duncan at one time was playing. He's retired now, but he's from the Bahamas, isn't he? Tim Duncan.
No, he's from one of the Caribbean islands, but Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield
Okay.
is Bahamian. I think he plays with the Indiana Pacers. DeAndre Ayton, who plays with the Phoenix Suns, he's a center. He's a Bahamian. There's a young guy named Kai Jones. He is with, I believe, Charlotte Hornets. He's also a Bahamian. So we are producing some athletes that are really rising in on the NBA level, and they're putting together a team that hopefully will make it to the Olympics next year.
Fantastic.
Actually, I was reading on Facebook the other day where they're trying to convince Clay Thompson to join them
Okay.
because, as you know, Michael Thompson is a Bahamian as well. And so
Okay.
it'll be interesting to see if they can get him to play with their team. We'll see. That will
Okay.
be a force. That team will be a force to reckon with, and hopefully they can be competitive enough to win a medal.
Yeah. Now I got to respond to that comment you made a little while ago about America. We your big cousins, so don't be picking on us too much now. We right we too
America has
close. We too close, okay? Don't be picking on us too much now. I know we ain't got it
it's
all
it's
together,
it's
you
it's
know.
healthy competition. America has dominated in sports for years, and
It's true.
I'd like to think of it as the competition is getting better and better. And
Yeah,
I mean, who wants to watch one country win everything all the time? Gets
that's
boring.
true. Yeah. And it's interesting. I can remember only because I've been around so long how Jamaica used to send, track and field stars all the time to participate in the Olympics, and they were, just like the Kenyans. Kenya used to win a lot of track and field stuff. So I remember, you can't deny black folks. Black folks is fast, okay? So you give them a chance, they gonna outrun as much stuff as they possibly can. So you're absolutely correct. I love it. Now, and you may not know the answer to this, but what was like the tourist attraction like coming down for all of the festivities that took place? Did it look like it was a lot of people, a lot of tourists, or just mostly home folks that participated in all the celebrations?
I know that a lot of home folks returned to the Bahamas. Lots
Okay.
of Bahamians returned home for the activities, but I believe that they also had lots of tourists. I can't give you numbers, but I can guarantee you that most of the islands were super busy, probably overcrowded with tourists and locals alike. So it was a busy time for the year, for the
Good,
country, sorry, a very busy time for the country.
good, 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 good. I'm so glad to hear that. The Bahamas is always home for me. I've been coming there since I was knee high to a grasshopper. So I'm always happy that folks are able to enjoy themselves. We didn't hear of any international incidents during this, so like it was no crazy, activities going on where they had to like they do in Haiti. I hate to throw Haiti under the bus, but you know, Haiti always got some disaster going on. So it's good that the Bahamas had all of those folks celebrating and it was no disaster. So that was a beautiful thing. I love to hear those kind of things. So now we through talking about the celebration. So what else can we talk about that won't blow your cover around the world?
So I want to go back to the tennis camp because
Okay.
I am a big fan of giving back to the community. I love my Harbor Island community especially. And so for me, having the opportunity to not just assist in organizing it, but to assist in funding it was a tremendous, tremendous achievement. I am looking forward to next year's event. And so, if anybody on your show is interested in maybe volunteering for a camp in the Bahamas, please look me up. Or if you have tennis rackets or any kind of tennis equipment that you may want to donate, we're looking for all of those things. We're also looking for professional coaches if you want to come down and do some work with the kids. The kids, again, it's Harbor Island is a kind of island where there's not a lot of activity. And so generally during the summers, the kids have very little to nothing to do. So it was
Mm-hmm.
important for me to try to bring some activity to the kids that one can help them to stay active, but also the game of tennis, if you've ever played it, it's a game for life. Once you
Mm-hmm.
learn tennis, it's a lifetime game. You can play. I know, I think the oldest tennis player is like over 100 years old. So we wanted to be able to provide the kids with not only just an opportunity to learn a new sport, but to give them, something else to look forward to as well. Because if you visited the Bahamas, as I mentioned, basketball is probably considered the number one sport in the Bahamas, yet we haven't produced that much talent. And so I believe it's important that we switch the focus from just being a basketball player, especially given the statistics.
Mm-hmm.
If we can get more tennis players to or children to get into the game, then maybe we can produce more Coco Gauffs. As you saw, Coco won her first U.S. Open, um,
Mm-hmm.
19 years old, and obviously she's worked hard. She's earned it. But how much more the kids in a place like Harbor Island if we give them the opportunity? So for me, I think once I'm done with this law thing, that's going to be my next job.
Okay. All right. Now let me ask you a question. Since I know that you're a big celebrity around the world, have you thought about reaching out to the Williams sisters and asking them to come visit and see what you guys are doing?
Definitely. That is on my bucket list. So if there's anybody listening that knows Serena or Venus that can connect them to us, then by all means, please reach out to me. Again, it's about providing the kids that don't have the opportunity with the opportunity to learn the game and develop the skill. I've watched the story of Serena and Venus. It's an amazing story that many kids look up to and can learn from. And so it'll be great if we could get a Serena or a Venus or a Coco Gauff. In fact, Coco has been to the Bahamas. She's been to Nassau, so she's actually worked with some kids, as I understand it. But again, the family islands, which Harbor Island is one of, gets kind of lost in the way, and Nassau gets all of the attention. And so
Right.
the group that I actually connected with, they're called Island Tennis Bahamas. They want to
Mm-hmm.
bring tennis to the islands because they recognize the need to introduce the game, not just in New Providence, because New Providence is not the entire Bahamas, but to
Right.
introduce the game on all of the islands where we can help to produce more tennis players. So
Absolutely.
I've just happened to connect to a good group of guys who the vision that they have for this game of tennis, I'm excited. I'm super excited and I'm looking forward to what they're going to do.
Good. 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 Also, another suggestion. I know that there's a big football family on Harbor Island as well. They might be able to be a good inroad into Serena and Venus because they're in that sports industry, so to speak. So they might be willing to make a phone call and say, hey, come visit. Because I know they own a great big compound on Harbor Island, so they might be able to help with that.
I
Yeah,
think I know who
absolutely.
you're referring to, and I will take you up on that suggestion.
Yeah, yeah, because I know from coming there that they used to participate with the locals quite a bit. Saw it myself back in the day. So I know that they don't have. I don't know if they still have a lot of contact with the locals. Because they used to come down to the Vicum. I think it was the Vicum. Then they used to call it Vicum. That
Yes,
Victor.
the victim is still there. Yes.
Yeah, Victor. Yeah, Victor um, used to host them. And then I'll tell you somebody else I had never thought about until just now. The Victoria's Secret girl that used to come there all the time. I can't call her name.
Is
Um,
that Naomi Campbell?
no, no, the other one. She's got that top model show. Um,
Top model.
yeah,
Tyra Banks.
yes, she used to be there all the time. Victor used to brag
Yes.
about, that's her booth right there.
I think you're referring to Humphrey. Humphrey is the one you're referring to.
Is it Humphrey or Victor? I thought no, Victor was
Humphrey.
right. I remember Victor used to be down on Bay Street, right? Humphrey used
Right.
to be at the
Yes.
Vicom. You're right. I got it mixed up. You're right. When you get old, stuff gets scrambled. But I'm in the Percentie family though. I know that part.
Yes, you
Yep.
are in the right family. And
Yeah.
just to clarify, Vikram was actually derived from Victor and Humphrey. So Victor
Okay.
would have been my grandfather, and Humphrey would have been Humphrey's father. So they owned the
Right.
Vicom together.
Right.
So that's where the name came from. But I wanted to also add that what we're also looking at doing, and we're in the process of, we realize that there's a need for more tennis courts in Harbor Island. So
Okay.
there's one public tennis court. The remaining tennis courts are all privately owned, which
Okay.
is fine. Most of those privately owned courts are owned by the hotels on the island. So we were
Okay.
able to utilize one or two of the private courts with their permission. However, we recognize that there's a need to have two or three public courts. So we're now lobbying for two extra courts down at the public parks where the public court is located. And we're
Okay.
anticipating having those two extra courts by next year. Because
Okay.
again, we want to be able to host tournaments and have kids practicing on more than one court. Because what we found was, for example, one coach can coach 4 to 6 kids comfortably, but if you have 50 kids with three coaches, then the numbers are really off and the kids don't get
Right.
the kind of attention that they need. So we
Gotcha.
really need more courts and, of course, more coaches next year, which is what we're working on.
Yeah. Now, a quick question. Now, are the kids able to keep the equipment that they got over the summer, or do they have to turn it in and store it until the next time the tournament comes around?
So some of the kids had their own tennis rackets, which
Gotcha.
is what we encourage. But the tennis rackets that the coaches brought with them, they took those back with them. And that's why
Gotcha.
I was appealing to anybody out there that has access or knows anyone who can donate tennis rackets, then definitely the kids need it. And I'll tell you why. There was one kid in particular who really, really impressed the coaches. He's been assessed as a kid who has ADHD. And so
Gotcha.
he's labeled as unteachable or he can't learn. But when he was placed on the tennis court, the level of focus that he had was just amazing. And so what
Yeah.
we saw was this kid has the ability to learn in a different way. And
Right.
so he has the ability to concentrate on the tennis court. And so why not develop the tennis gift? Now he's
Absolutely.
got his own tennis rackets, but he hasn't been able to develop the game because another issue with tennis in Harbor Island is there are no tennis coaches there. So
Gotcha.
all of this is a part of what we intend to do. We want to bring those coaches to Harbor Island to have a permanent fixture on the island whereby the kids can have access to professional coaches at all times and their games can develop and elevate to the level where they can be competitive, play for the Bahamas national teams, and who knows what else can come of it.
Gotcha. Now, switching up just a little bit, I remember hearing over the weekend that they had a hurricane coming that way. Did you get any updates on the hurricane and find out, is it going to hit, is it going to miss, or anything like that? Had you heard anything about that?
I know that there was talk when we left. So, as you know, I left the Bahamas on last week, Wednesday. And
Okay.
there was the talk that a hurricane was heading in the direction. I haven't heard any news that it did hit. In fact, mom would have told us. And so I believe that it's taken another course. So
Okay.
we've been blessed so far. The tropics are very busy still, though. And so
Mm,
there's still are the remainder of the season to be watchful for.
okay. And I'm glad you said mom, because the last time you was on the show, we did not give a shout out to your mother or your father. And I'm not getting in trouble no more. So we're going to shout them out right now. So please shout your mother and your father and your family out right now. I said the name Percentie earlier, and it's a bunch of them. So, please shout out your family so I don't get in no trouble.
So yes, I want to give a
Because she just
big
had a
shout out
birthday. Yeah.
that she did. Give a
Uh
big
huh.
shout out to my father and mother, Richard Percentie. I call him my number one man. Lavon Queen Conk Percentie. I call her my number one fan. And then I have my sister Bella. We call her Bella here with me. I have my sister Simone. She's running the restaurant in Harbor Island. I have twin sisters, Jackie and Jeanette. They're both in the Bahamas. And then I have a brother. Garvin, who used to live in Chicago, he's now relocated and living in Orlando. So those
Okay.
are my siblings. I have large families, too many to name, but a big shout out to all of my family members. But again, yes, mom just celebrated her 16th birthday. And so she was in Nassau with me for about a week. And we had a grand time. I just enjoyed celebrating her and treating her as the queen that she is. And we're having a part two to the celebration, by the way.
Good, good, good. Well, I don't know if I buy that 16 thing, because I can remember sitting in front of the Queen Conch before it was a big fancy restaurant, sitting out there, and your sister and your mom used to serve me conch salad all day because your dad was out on the ocean, diving for conch and fish all day, and then he'd bring it in, and everything would be so fresh. And I tell you, 16 ain't gonna fly. You're gonna have to give her a higher number than that. Absolutely. But yes, so you ain't getting me in trouble no more. I was like, we did a whole hour and didn't even mention your mom and dad. And I was like, man, I ain't gonna never do that again. But your dad and I have been friends since we were both young fellers, even though he older than me, but we were both young, and I'll tell you, we ran those streets of Harbor Island all night.
I'm sure.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so now that we got the shout out the way, we talked about the young people. So what else can we talk about?
So again, I am in the process of doing some things in Harbor Island. As you know, I spoke on it the last occasion. There is a high demand, or I wouldn't say a high demand. There's real estate in Harbor Island is very, very valuable. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the process of developing two properties in Harbor Island, which I've purchased. I'm excited about that new project. Looking forward to owning, not just owning, but having something on the island to call my own, to say that I did that. So I'm looking to put my mark in Harbor Island. And
Okay.
that's another project that is up and coming. I plan to spend more time in Harbor Island and we'll have my office there. So that's another thing that I guess 2024 is going to meet me doing.
Okay. So you're going to build an office and a home, or an office where you live in it, upstairs and downstairs type thing. What are you shooting for?
I'm looking at office space downstairs and rooms upstairs. So yes, I
Okay.
will live in one of the rooms upstairs. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, good. Congratulations. You're an entrepreneur extraordinaire. So, since you're so young, I'm gonna put that out there first. So, how long do you plan on practicing law in the Bahamas?
That's a great question. I don't know exactly how long. I know that in my mind, I'd like to be done with it by 50, and I'm nearer to 50, but not as close to 50.
Okay.
But no, I believe that I may still consult, but I definitely want to be in a position where I've established the firm to the place where I no longer have to go in every day and I have the right team assisting me to do the job that they can do just as well as I can.
Good
So
for
that's
you.
actually that's something that's in the making even as I sit in this other place. I've been putting in the time and investing in training my team so that when I'm not there, they're able to function. I spoke with them twice today. The first time was early in the morning, and the second time was at the end of the day. And my
Okay.
instruction was, if the roof is not burning down, do not call me.
Okay. So they didn't want to bother you at all.
They didn't call me, I called them.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. So now another question that I have about you and your possible career opportunities. Being a lawyer, because I remember when you first went to the UK to go to law school. So that was a long time ago because you've been out of law school a long time. Do you have political aspirations, for the Bahamas? Do you see yourself maybe, being a local politician or maybe even a national politician?
Honestly, I think you asked me this question last time, and I haven't changed my answer. The answer to that is no, emphatically. And not because,
I don't think I asked it, but, that's okay. If you say I asked it, I
no,
asked it.
I have no desire to be involved in politics. I do desire to make an impact in my community, which I believe is what I'm doing already. So I don't need the title of a politician in order to affect change in my community. Um, Hats off to those who desire that. I think you have to have a certain disposition to be a politician, and I don't have that. And I'm not prepared to change to be that person. And so I just rather do what I do and be who I am without having to compromise in order to suit other people's perceptions or, yeah, let's just leave it at that.
Well, and I guess I keep asking the question because I know you have a passion for people. Just like you spoke, about the young people and trying to help build something for the young people. And as a politician, you can pull resources from the government to be able to help them, be involved in what's going on, especially if you're a local, politician on Harbor Island or north of Lutra. You can channel resources into those areas that would allow, what you're trying to accomplish to happen. So, but, here in America, we have an expression where we talk about, who's the most powerful person, the man or the man next to the man, you know. So the man next to the man is just as powerful if you got the man's ear, because then you can get the attention and the resources that you need to make things happen. So, I totally understand you don't want to be the person that's got the bullseye on your forehead, and they're coming after you for whatever reason they can. But I totally get it. I totally get it. But I just know your heart, and I can see your passions for trying to get things done. And sometimes you might have to just break down and say, okay, I'll take the job, and then just get it done and say, nah, I quit.
No,
I quit
you have
now.
a very valid point. Very
Yeah.
valid point, and it's not that I haven't considered it. I
Mm-hmm.
applaud those persons who take on that role. It's not an easy job.
Not at all.
I, for one, don't particularly care for the job because I feel that I can't be myself. I
Mm-hmm.
can't be the person who says no when no is no because I'm a politician and I'm more concerned about a vote than I am about the people that are voting for me. And
Mm-hmm.
so I would much rather have the kind of freedom that I have now. When I look back at the event that we just hosted, there was no government involvement. There was no government
Really?
support. It was all
Wow.
done privately. Yes, all
Wow.
done privately because of our efforts. And so it's possible to do it without the government's involvement. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
there are some things that you will need the government for. And,
Right.
you said something about power. I believe that the most powerful people are the ones that have resources. and
Right.
money is a resource. So, what my plans include me being in a financial position to provide myself without the need
Mm-hmm.
for any government support, because I believe it is possible to do. It's possible to do it without the government's involvement. It's possible to do it without feeling that you owe someone else something because they've
Yeah.
loaned to you. And so,
No, I
yeah,
got it.
I
No.
like the freedom of being able to do it on my own, or if not on my own, with the support of people who have no intentions, ill intentions. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
that all governments have ill intentions, but governments are normally seeking reelection. Their
Right.
focus is normally about being reelected. And so,
Right.
unfortunately, it's not the
Yeah,
job for me.
they have ulterior motives in everything they do. Unfortunately, that's
Yeah.
in America. It's a real big thing. Okay, I'm here in Chicago, and nobody says good morning without trying to figure out how they can get their hand in your pocket to figure out how they
Mm.
can pursue their goals. So I understand. I would, I love helping people myself, giving a voice to people that don't normally have a voice. That's why, you're going to be a regular on my show so that I can make sure that your voice is heard as often as possible, because I want people to know what's going on in your backyard, your little neck of the woods, in the Bahamas. And the Bahamas by no means is small, but we still need to rally around you and what your, passions, dreams, and aspirations for the young people of the Bahamas. You're trying to make something for people to come up behind you. So I do have a question. So, are you um, trying to encourage some of the youth in your, communities that you operate in to get involved in law?
Great question. Yes. In fact, there is a young man that's he's from Harbor Island. He and I have been communicating quite frequently over the past, say, 6 months or so. He reached out to me. He just returned to London to finish bar school because he did his
Okay.
law degree and then he took some time off. And so he is, I guess, one of my proteges.
Okay.
Um, he is up and coming. I've been encouraging him, and I'm actually looking at doing some stuff in Harbor Island in the legal field. I hosted 2 weeks ago. I hosted a presentation on the topic wills and estate planning at the
Okay.
Methodist Church. It was very well received, and they've actually invited me back. I want to do more of that kind of thing in the community where we educate people on their legal rights. It doesn't have to be just me doing all of the educating. I have friends that are more than happy to come in and speak on different topics. But that is also something that I want to have as a constant in Harbor Island so that people understand and know they do have rights and they don't have to bow when the wrong thing is happening because they didn't know any better.
Right.
And also, I have the plan to introduce something in the schools
Okay.
whereby we're identifying those kids who, say, have the gift to debate or may have an interest in the law but don't know how. So all of those are things that I have as my plans for the future. And so yes, and that's why for me, I need to be able to get out of the office and do some more of what I love to do. And I do love teaching as well. I love educating. I love speaking about the law. But more importantly, I just overall enjoy helping people.
So I got a question. So now I know that your path took you to the UK in order to, study law and then get your degree, and then you came back and practiced in the Bahamas. Is that the normal path, or is there something that people can take as a path in the Bahamas, or can they go to the United States and then come back with the same power and authority and know what's going on in the Bahamas, or is that the only way to do it is going through the UK?
So there are a number of options to becoming an attorney or practicing as an attorney in the Bahamas. We do now have a law school in the Bahamas,
Okay,
Eugene DePuch Law School, where you can study law and then be qualified as an attorney in the Bahamas. So you no longer need to travel outside of the Bahamas to become an attorney. There's also the option of Jamaica, Barbados. Those have always been options, and the UK, as well as you may opt to do a degree in the US, but you will have to come back and do the conversion course in the Bahamas.
got
So,
you.
in any event, yes, you'd still have to revert back to the Bahamian program.
Okay, got you. So I know we talked about a lot of stuff, and of course we didn't cover everything. We got a few minutes left. Did we hit everything that you want to talk about on this show?
I think for the most part, I especially wanted to talk about the tennis because I recognize that it's a new passion of mine. I'm really, really excited about it. And I'm really looking forward to what we can produce coming out of Harbor Island. As you
Okay,
said earlier, I am a product of Harbor Island. I'm
right.
very proud to be a Brylander. And I have tried to encourage others to do the same. And so I believe it's important for each one to teach one, and
Right.
that's what my objective is. I believe in the kids. I know that we have great talent on the island that's just lying dormant, and they just need an opportunity like I had to go out and discover and develop and then dominate.
Absolutely. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come back and be with us again. I do know that you are traveling, and I know you have quite a bit other things that you could be doing right now, but you shared your time with us, and I can't thank you enough. I'm so proud of you. I have watched you grow up. So a lot of people may not know that, but I'm gonna spill the beans. Yes, I am so proud of you, and proud to know you. So I always ask a couple of questions before people leave, but I'm gonna ask the question because I already know the answer. Will you come back again?
Definitely, yes.
Good, good, good. Like I mentioned earlier, I would like to make a regular feature out of this, based on your schedule and how it goes, because there's always something going on that we can talk about, from your little section of the world. And then the second question that I always like to ask is, what would you like to leave with the people before you leave today?
So one thing I'd like to say is, it's important for us, each of us, to discover who we are. It's so, so important to discover who we are. And whether that means what your talents are, what your gifts are, it's important to know that because you don't want to leave this world having not understood and recognized who God made you. And once you discover who you are, develop that, develop that gift, develop that talent. There's a university of YouTube now. I like to call it my university because I've learned so many things through YouTube, and so nowadays there's not necessarily a need to go to university, but you can develop your skills, develop your gifts. And then once you've gotten to a place where you're so comfortable in it, it becomes second nature. You start dominating that. So if I could leave those three words with you, it would be discover who you are, develop who you are, and then dominate that person.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Once again, thank you so very much. I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. I want you to stay right there. We're going to end the show for today. You be safe wherever you're hiding in the world. Stay right there. I'm going to end the show. All right. I want to invite you guys out to join me on tomorrow. Each and every Wednesday, I do a show on Street News Now. So please join me on tomorrow, 12 noon, where I do news, commentaries, and keep you guys up to date with what's going on in the world. I want to invite you guys to come join me each and every Saturday, at 12 noon, where I give you a commentary on what's going on in my heart from the desk of Dr. Ron. I want to thank all those that have made donations and contributions. Thank you so very much. These are all the ways that you can make contributions to support what we got going on. And please don't forget to support my advertisers. And I want you to subscribe, like, and share. Please subscribe, like, and share. Okay? Tell somebody to watch the show, spread it around so people can see what's going on. All right. Love you guys. See you guys on tomorrow. Take care and be blessed.